today if you do happen to just miss it and get some points along the way as we go into our first match of the day. It's Brawl, it's Pinball Dreams, and it's going to be me and Teddy. Sorry, Trav, see you in a bit, mate. The votes in is 69% in favor of ANR. That's a solid number, Teddy.
It is a very, very solid number. ANR is incredibly good at the moment. I mean, they've managed to beat Zeta Division in the SPS. They're on top of the world, but what matters the most to them right now are those BSC points. Can they translate that today here in the monthly finals of July? We'll have a first pick Nita here on Pinball Dreams. HMBLE gonna be reacting with an M straight up. It is a brawler that has been very threatening across the board. We see the Crow as well, so a lot of slow possibilities here on the side of HMBLE, both on the M's and on that Crow.
Well, look, coming in for ANR, and they get some good results with it, I've got to be honest. Great to see the Cordelius ban on the side of HMBLE because, well, we'll talk more about Cordelius later on today. An absolute menace riding high in terms of both the picks and the win rates in Brawl Esports, but we also saw there as well Shelly being very, very high up on those win rates and therefore banned out more often than not as well. Dynamite is the last brawler pick from HMBLE, which I don't mind, but I think Willow here has a bit more utility to spare, and I do worry for HMBLE if ANR start to push up the map, especially with that Bonnie pick as well. If Rama can really make that work time and time again, more often than not, the rest will follow. And with the Bruce Bear as well from the side of Nita, the Crow is going to struggle a little bit. The M's, they're saving grace for me, but we know what Dynamite can do, Teddy. If you get those all-important supers to connect and land and break open the map, it might be able to give HMBLE a bit of an opportunity and a bit of a shot on goal.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong pick here. I think they can make it work on the side of HMBLE. I think both comps have their legs, but let's find out as we jump into game. We're not quite going to have a thrower battle just yet, as they are split across the map, which means that on each side where there is a thrower, you will have a bit more of a dominant matchup, as there's no way for the opposition really to dislodge them from that position.
Very similar circumstance to what we saw in the grand finals earlier today in East Asia, actually, with these comps running on this exact map. And Luki knows that he's got that rage advantage, can just kind of sit there. Rama can't contest that situation either, so he's already got Super now pushing forwards a little bit. Cyclone just keeping his distance as well, as he knows that it will help him out and his teammates considerably to be in the mix. Maybe it's though, great tap onto Cyclone into the middle, almost followed up as well. The jump in should be able to clear it, but the ball passed out, and the bomb for safety measure there from Luki.
Yeah, he will destroy a couple of his own walls, gets a nice follow-up kill to Rama though. A chance maybe to build up a little bit of map control. HMBLE have been on the back foot in the first minute, but now suddenly they have a lot more map control. Luki has a super as well. Nice gadget from Nom to hide away from that super. Will manage to survive off that engagement. And Luki is not quite going to be as fortunate. He falls, and ANR now back in the driver's seat.
He's just trying to keep a little bit the right-hand side, but Rama will see the crossover there as well, so he can just hold that position there with no super to hand. Rama's very safe in doing so, better there than he was in the left-hand side lane for sure. Now Nob trying to bring this ball forwards a little bit, has the mind control to hand, and you'll know what that can do if ANR can just push forwards into an aggressive spot. Cyclone healing as well, and he'll be able to then aggress the mid back again onto Mavius and try and keep things at bay. But both sides showing good signs of patience actually for me, and just trying to keep themselves all utilized up really. But yeah, Tom's just showing Rama that I still know you're there, mate. I mean, you're not fooling anyone.
Dude, that Tomzy versus Rama matchup on the right lane is giving me some serious backyard bowl vibes. Like, they've been staring at each other for this entire time, and Rama has not moved an inch. I love it. I love it. There's just nothing Tomzy can do. He can't push up that position, and there's just no possibility for his teammates to get Rama out of position. This is looking good as overtime comes up in favor of ANR, but can they make something happen as the walls are about to open up? Maybe just trying to get control of the ball, perhaps. They have two supers to work with. It's a 2-on-2, 2-on-1. Luki, not a chance in the world.
Absolutely wasn't that. Maybe this was really just kind of baiting things out with the super when, for all intents and purposes, he could have gone in aggressively. He could have gone for a shot. He could have done so many things. But then again, what ANR do is very, very textbook stuff. And they just play it slow, play it steady. And HMBLE just were not really in a position to respond to it. And they do need to go a bit more on the aggressive, I feel. as ANR already proving that when it comes to those overtime scenarios, they are pretty cool as the cucumbers. Maybe it's popping the gadget here, a bit of an opening, potentially going forwards, but then shut down, slowed. Took a while, but eventually Humble do get the takedown, but as a result of losing a lot of this mid-map control, they have to regain that one back.
Yeah, not a bad early push here from ANR. Not quite able to scar off it, but they'll be happy with the map control they gain. A bear going to be placed down, and despite the shield, it's not going to last for very long. A big kill coming through. Rama finds another. Mabius jumps in, and that's a team wipe that this time around will result into a goal. ANR taking over the lead here in the first minute.
Yeah, much more convincing of a start, wasn't it? And you know, now Humble cannot go back to that same play style, just kind of sitting on the right-hand side lanes or left-hand side lanes and waiting. They're the ones that have got to make the move. Mavis hasn't got super here. It'd be a good time to really make the most of this moment, but Lucas is absolutely out of position now. Rubber survives on as well, and that's terrible. It's just Cyclone versus a 3, and not with the mind control. Could absolutely cause a problem on this right-hand side. Connecting 3 times onto Tomsy, a 4th as well. Gets the trade of Bear coming in as well. Maybe should surely be able to get a moment here. Jumps in on the diner. Rubber's still alive as well. It's a 2 versus 0, and that should be another goal with Mavis, and it is.
Kind of, yeah, just playing that waiting game, and I think that against a team like Zeta Division, they're usually a step ahead, and you'll need to take some risks to really take your chances. But moving on, we'll be moving to Ring of Fire for some hot zone action. Gonna be much more control based around the center of that map, but some good flanking can always be very deadly as well around the bushes or the walls on the right side.
I'll be honest, I never expected to ever see a first-person perspective of going down a water slide in the lead-up to a draft, but hey ho, here we are. Bell coming in for Humble as the first pick, which is a very kind of safe pair of hands. And speaking of hands, banning out the Sam, Bonnie, and the Shelly as well. Cordelis is still around, by the way, on this particular map to be potentially picked in. Not necessarily the best mode for Cordelis, but one that nonetheless can still cause a big stir when it comes to removing someone off the objective. Bans on the side of ANR with Crow, Shelly, as well as Stoop. Squeak can come in and follow up after that, and I love that pick for ANR, honestly. Such a suppressive side lane thing to have. And banning out the Shelly and the Stu, which do seem to line up quite well with the statistics of those win rates as well. So let's see what they're choosing to match this, because I think in terms of like mid, they haven't really got one at the moment. Squeak more often than not will play those side lanes, and they have to think through what they might want to have for that idea. There it is. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I mean, honestly, I was expecting it to be banned here. You do have to make a decision, though, when it comes to when you use that super as to whether you're going to be able to get the value or whether you could potentially harm your team as opposed to be going on the aggressive sometimes without on Ring of Fire. But nonetheless, Cordelis is never a bad pick at the moment.
Yeah, it's in a very good place for sure. It's looking really strong, but I'm really excited to see how it plays out here in competitive. I haven't had the chance to watch it all that much just yet. We'll see the Amber on the side of Humble. Again, very control based. Get that puddle down anywhere on the map. Slow down your position when they are walking in it, and if they're overextending their welcome, just burn them away. But yeah, I'm really curious how that Cordelia is going to be working out here, because it is quite an open map. And as you said, sometimes the Cordelia super can be used against you. I'm pretty sure your position can capture the zone whilst being in the Shadow Realm, right? So that could be quite a problem if you are losing your matchup and the Cordelius has to fall back. We'll see the Carl as the final pick here for Team Humble, and I don't mind it. I feel like Carl is still in a pretty solid place. He's always just been at least good, and he's definitely still just that right now.
I'm just wondering with the Tara maybe for ANR here, they need a mid-range, and Tara's not really that. Gus, love that. That's what we're talking about here, but very surprised nonetheless to see no one actually kind of venturing towards that Tara pick. I do love the Carl, but I feel like Tara's got a bit more of potential realistically there to really just lock you into your spawn and, you know, deflate anything that comes out of it. But I do feel like for the most part, like ANR's comp is a solid one, but Humble's as well. With the Carl can make some plays. The Amber can really deflate a lot of the ability for ANR to hide away within those pushy areas, especially with that Cordelius, who's got a very short range. So I actually quite like what they're putting together. I'd be stupid to not side with the Cordelius-based comp, especially with the Guns now as that final pick. I think I'm a bit more sold on ANR as to what they were going to be going in with. I was a bit worried until they had that Gus to really finalize things off.
Jumping in, we have Cyclone going a bit aggressive on that left-hand side. Not going to try to punish him. He will be jumping forwards, get some good damage, but will fall eventually. It does get him a little bit closer to unlocking that super, though, and I can't wait to see that Cordelius super and how Nob decides to play that off early on. Percentage-wise, it's a little bit of a lead for ANR, but nothing too worrying just yet, as Nob is pushing up the right side this time around and now has super as well to play with.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the lane swap there, but I was surprised to kind of see it go into those lanes when it started. Squeak's far better on the left, but now Cyclone pushing on that very side with the help, though, of Mavis. They do seem to take care of it. Great cookie popper there from Mavis as well, and that secures the mid as Lukey falls, leaving Tomsy all alone on the right-hand side, and that's going to then allow much more of a controlling factor as Nob jumps into the gadget as well. Surprised it's actually running that gadget, but hey, if it gets you the value on that left-hand side, I'm all for it, and it is getting ANR value, 70% now to 7 of Humble.
Loki is gonna go down, and ANR at the finish line nearly. Mebius is taking a lot of damage. He will end up going down. Humble trying to retake the mid, but there's just not all that much they can do. It's a little too late now. 99% for ANR. All that Mebius has to do is walk.
Just that ability, isn't it, to just take away some of the aggressiveness, some of the objective play, and just allow your teammates to focus on where they want to have their matchup. And you can see the range of Cordelius, it's very, very limiting. And even to get your opposition within that radius to really charge a super, very challenging in the pro circuit. But you can just see the value it brings, and for that same reason, we don't always see it banned out. We're not quite at that Shelly moment yet, but you can see why it's necessary, in my opinion. Nob's now coming in. Cyclone doing a pretty decent job, though, of keeping him in bay, and should win the trade out on that left-hand side. Has given him some utility, but this is a much better start from Humble, despite the 26% that ANR have already been able to achieve in the mid. But they've got to be able to keep this up, otherwise they could be going 2 sets down very quickly if they don't.
Yeah, things are going in the right direction for Humble, though. It's definitely a better start than in game number 1. They still have a decent amount of mid-control. Tomsy taking a good bit of damage, but Cyclone going aggressive is going to help lock in that kill onto Mebius. Nob going to be able to secure an easy and quick kill there against Cyclone, and ANR, even though they are still in the lead, are showing some cracks in their defense just a little bit more as Humble is catching up and overtaking the lead.
Great flying hook from Cyclone, but he is punished for it on the respawn there, but it's bulked some valuable time as Luke gets some taps on Sarama there, who is marked up on that left-hand side. Davis using the shield as well, and now all 3 members of ANR start to try to push this one back, and hence the separation. Cyclone goes to the left-hand side lane, tries to get that angle there on Sarama. Double are going to try and contest it. In the meanwhile, it's a lot of capture points going the way of Humble, and it's a much more convincing lead this time around, about 30% in it. We have a little bit of control, but if they can get some kills, that will be deterring very quickly. But on the left-hand side, it is Nob that gets the kills. Cyclone goes down, and that will alleviate some of the pressure.
Well done by Nob on that left side to just remove some of the map control that Humble had built up throughout that game. ANR only a couple of percentages behind, but Cyclone finds a kill on the right side. Nob is low HP on the left as well. Mebius will be able to get that kill onto the Carl. Gets the follow-up onto Lukey. And this could be huge now for ANR. Despite being a little bit behind, they have the man advantage for a couple of seconds, which helps them catch up.
What a play from Mavis. I mean, honestly, because on that right-hand side, Cyclone won the lane, and he needed to come in clutch for his team there and bring back some feist. I love it. Luke in the middle, those got that super hand as well. Might choose to mark up Mavis, but actually now he's so low, one single attack should seal it. Cyclone coming back in to help his team. Nob staying alive for quite a long time there as well, but 85% and climbing for Humble. And team wipe is now needed for ANR. Well, this game goes the way of Humble, and it's looking like they've already get deflated and defeated here as everyone's standing still.
We were hoping for, but Humble are delivering here in game 2 of Hot Zone. Let's see if they can double down and even out the scoreboard.
Cyclone searching again for Nob, who's keeping himself concealed. Now finally giving away his position, trying to make his way forwards. Again, he needs to try to get that utility by gaining that close proximity or some taps. These early game moments are so vital for Humble in that respect. If they can just keep ANR suppressed like this, low HP, with nothing ready as a response, and they can get some great time on the objective. Great cookie popper there though from Mabius, and that help on that left hand side from Nob will secure the takedown. Very important moment as ANR now take an affirming position in the mid.
Okay, low HP, so it's Mabius. Cyclone trying to close down the gap on the right hand side, but Nob is there. We'll transport him to the Shadow Realm and take him down. A Mushroom to heal up as well. And things are not looking all bad for ANR right now. There's a bit of a lead, and until now a bit more map control. Humble are still fighting back and now have a bit more presence throughout the mid. Tomzy will be taking quite low HP. The burn not quite gonna connect from Tomzy either. And Nob versus Cyclone is gonna be their private little 1v1, but it is Nob that ends up taking that one home. However, the rest of the map does seem to be going a little bit more in favor of Humble, but just as I say that, we have some good retakes on the side of ANR, and they both have the lead percentage-wise. And that fight in the mid is not one that Mabius can win. Nob also burning down. This is looking like Humble have a chance here to make something happen.
Very, very close stuff, but Humble looking far better in this than they were in Brawl. That is certainty here. Rather though, just pushing that left-hand side in there. Luki falls. Cyclone pushing into the Shadow Realm, and now Nob will be trying to close himself in. He gets this wrong, it could be disastrous, but no, he gets it absolutely right as he comes out bang on time as well to Tomzy. And this should be ANR now just getting hunkered down. There's the Amber Oil in the mid, but that's a somewhat of a saving grace, but they have not got the time on the side of Humble now. They've got to start to secure some kills, retake the mid, because ANR can smell the blood, and they're going for the jugular.
Absolutely. So this is looking complicated for Humble now. So low HP on two of their players, and so yeah, it's over.
But it's tough to see it any other way at the moment as we go into knockout. Goldarm Gulch will be the map. This is a chance though, Teddy, to bring down the pace a little bit, and against a team that have got 2 consecutive sets, that might be going for them here.
You're absolutely right. Knockout can be a fantastic game mode to just slow down the pace a little bit, try to get that sort of reset after a bit of a losing streak. Let's see how Humble will approach this one, as they will be banning out the Shelly, the Bunny, and the Tick on their end. ANR taking out Mr. P, Squeak, and I think it was RT. I didn't quite get to see. Yeah, it was RT. And they'll go for a Gene first pick, actually. I don't mind it at all. Can do wonderfully well at scouting your opposition in their bushes. And obviously the pools can be a game changer. Now it is a little bit scary because there are so many brawlers that have ways to deal with pools, either by placing some sort of spawnable down that will tank it for them, or by, you know, just being tanky enough or have enough damage up close to deal with being pulled. We'll see the Gus as their first pick. I don't mind it at all. We saw how successful it was in the previous game mode. I don't know if it will be as successful here, but the Gray can give a lot of really fun counter play, try to go for some counter attacks and, you know, basically just TP down onto your opposition and shut them down. If there is any weakness on the side of ANR, I feel like that Gray is going to do a great job at shutting that down and capitalizing.
Really interesting stuff. I love the Gus, I love the Grey. But ANR have got a chance here. Leon was not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking maybe Eve, to be honest, because simply she's not been picked yet, and it's still a pretty decent map for it. But Leon, we've seen ANR bring this in before, and it gets a lot of value. Carl could be used for aggression as well, but ultimately better to have that in their hands than combined with the Gus on the other side of the field. They are lacking range. Big punchy ideas, Bells, Brock still available here as well. But you need some range, you really do, and Leon's not enough to cut it. Gene will be able to chip damage his way. Max, okay, wasn't what was on my mind, but closing the gap can achieve similar results as well. I just don't necessarily feel there's much synergy. I mean, with there's certainly between the Max and the Gene, right? But I mean, this is not a common comp to run in Goldarm Gulch. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Humble have got a much better idea going on. Gus, Gray, Ruffs, I mean, that is all going to work well. I feel like Humble should probably win this in terms of the draft, but honestly, I mean, ANR could make this work with just sheer outlandish aggression. Yes, the Rush can sandbag against the Gene and deflect the pull. Yes, the Great can come in on the side of the Humble and just kind of, pick off those final moments of HP and weakness. But there's just something about this comp that screams ANR, and if Humble just don't know how to deal with this push, and unpredictability of which this comp brings, this could be a 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like Humble has a comp that is a bit more traditional to this map, but at this point, ANR, they're here to just disrupt the meta a little bit and find their own say in that draft. Already low HP on Luki, he will be falling back, and they're actually going to be getting powered up now by the Roughs. So they are playing the long game. Map control-wise, though, there's genuinely nothing to work with on the side of ANR. Luki's going to pull that lollipop drop away. Just make sure that those walls are going to be removed, as well as that invisibility that they were all able to have through that gadget.
I mean, honestly, I really worry for Humble because, I mean, as soon as you've got those sandbags eradicated from top, there's the second one already. We were just in the first round. Big taps to the Thomas as well. Luki low shielded over, but still a 3 versus 2 here. I don't see how a Humble are going to be able to get out of this. 2 versus 1. Surely now the healing paths from Rama, Mabius and himself can take care of this. They should not mess this one up, right? And I don't want to speak too soon. Cyclone goes off the gas. Exactly. And now it's this next round. There's one set of sandbags left, and as soon as they're down, it's a free Gene pull with everyone, hunkered behind this Ruff's pick for the field promotion star power, which, again, it's a great thing to have. Over time, if you're all clustered, you're going to have more HP. But, I mean, it's just going to help Rama just land one of these pulls, and especially with the help of the max speed as well, I don't see how ANR don't win this game.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. It was a big first round to win here for ANR, especially since they carry over 2 supers. Because sometimes you lose the first round, but you have 2-3 supers on your side, your opposition have none. Then the second round is, I don't want to say free, but it's looking good to go your way. This time around, we don't really have that effect. Gene pulls are one of the most influential supers in the game, and Rama has it at hand. The last sandbags, I believe, were popped now as well. Yeah. And a lot of damage coming through. Tomsy surely is going to be going down. He does find some damage, but not nearly enough to get a kill, and Cyclone is left in a 1 versus 2 once again.
Rama and Mabius is just playing with their food at this point, trying not to feed along the way. Speed handed over, a little knockback potential into the gas here. No, chilling Cyclone there, but Rama just stands still because he knows that this early and depend on those sandbags, because it's just going to lead to Gene pools being more available for ANR. And when you're looking at a match point, that is not where you want to be. Hubble all take the left as ANR scout the right. It's going to be as starting as that to find out where everyone is. Walking stick popped by Luki, but will he land it? That's the question. Otherwise, again, more utility just being wasted.
And a pull once again from Luki. Really gonna find a player, but burn through some util. Rama is low HP. They just don't really have anything to commit to that fight just yet. No TP on the Grey to go in and get that kill, so they'll let him get away with it. And for now, this is looking much better from Humble. Some good tags across the board. They have some supers to work with as well. This looks like their first real fighting chance in this set, as speed will be popped by Mabius. Rama has that pull, a TP coming through. It's going to be a 1-4-1, but Luki is low HP, and Rama should be there to commit. He's not able to get the kill, though. Luki will fall. Cyclone versus Mabius. Surely Cyclone picks that one up, and that's going to be the first round on the board for Humble this set.
What a great kooky popper there, just to deflate the whole moment, because ANR could have taken that for me. They really could have, but the sandbags were there. Rama couldn't find then the angle for the pull, and yeah, honestly, Cyclone just timed it perfectly. Luki did some great plays as well. But now they're hunkered together, and Rama has to score the pull. Goes an early sandbag for his trouble, but it's okay. Doing it early in the round is better than doing it later. He will go down and punish for it. Shielded is Luki, and it's the best chance for Humble to be able to take something back for themselves, get a game on the board. Great from Luki, going in there at just the right time, not going in Viz, but it's going to be a matter of time now for Humble to be able to get themselves together and just get themselves back in the game.
A bit of an uphill battle as ANR still has a match point in hand. There's still no room for mistakes here for Humble, but we do see a spark of hope after that game win.
Let's see now as the Horns unlock again. Great connection from Luke in the pickup as well. Really nicely done from Cyclone. And it feels like the result of that last game may have absolutely caused some greater levels of communication and strategy to evolve along the way. That was what was honestly for me lacking in those first opening moments of Knockout, as this comp starting to show some legs. Connections onto Nob as well, just keeping him low, and Lukey full HP, and the result of that field promotion star power in the roughs, it's just going to over time give more and more power to Humble. So yeah, ANR actually just going to go into the gas, it seems, and I don't mind that decision under the circumstances. Humble are already looking strong. Why make them even stronger? And just keeping that one super behind Cyclone as opposed to all three members of Humble.
Yeah, I don't mind the play here from Humble. I feel like they, from ANR, sorry, I feel like they just had to take their chances to carry over as much util as they can into the second round. They do have an extra super available in their hands. We'll see how they put it to use, as the invis is a little bit situational at times, as you can easily get scouted out at a pro level. They will make sure that choke points are going to be covered and that you can't just catch your opposition off guard.
Well, again, Tomty's still got sandbags to hand. Cyclone's still got the shield. There's a lot of things that ANR can run into problems with, as well as that dangerous cookie popper gadget that we've seen time and time again from Cyclone, turning games with just that alone. But it's this fishing gear value that honestly ANR are able to capitalize from a lot. There they go down the sandbag. So has he got any more after this? I believe so. Yeah, he does. Nob's got super as well. They run waiting for a pull. This is what ANR do so well. It's a waiting game here, but Luca gets pulled in. Will he go down? He's down to 350 pieces, surviving over 110. Maybe this comes with the phase shift, keeping everyone low, but he will go down. Nob will have to get 2 kills here for his time, and he can't out just yet, but ANR will keep this pressure on. Again, they're only 1 game away from another match point, but depriving them of it was really quite key in Knockout. So we go into Bounty, Canal Grande up next, Teddy, and a very important draft for Humble.
Absolutely. So it's been better and better on the side of Humble. Brawl didn't look that good on their end. It was super convincing for ANR, but already in Hot Zone, much more of a fighting chance. Knockout they took home, and Bounty is a game mode that will resemble Knockout a little bit as well. Let's see if Humble can bring it all the way to a 5th and final set. Eve, Shelly, and Tick are going to be banned out by ANR. Humble on their side will be banning the Carl, Daryl, and the Gene, and they will be the one first picking. It's going to be a Squeak on their side. We saw him earlier already in Hot Zone on Ring of Fire, and it is one of the brawlers that just screams map control, able to lock down areas, get into some really good position in his super as well. Being able to be sent over walls can really help dislodging some opponents if they manage to get into a cozy spot somewhere and just, you know, be a permanent problem for you. That's not going to be happening when you have a Squeak on your team.
I mean, statistically, ANR just got the better of the win picks, and that's what I was about to lead on to talk about, is Cordelius. And that is honestly a scary prospect. It really is for Humble. Especially if they can close that gap, keep the pressure on. That's where this comp from ANR is going to come into its own, and the Squeak might not get an opportunity to really do much if they get the Cordelius to cycling through this. I mean, the saving grace for Humble is they've banned out Daryl, but that would be feeding a lot of value into the Cordelius pick. They lack some range or tankiness, but I worry about the idea of going towards tankiness. Yeah, Mr. P is great actually here, can cause much more of a problem. They can't go on the aggressiveness too much here because of the Cordelius. I mean, it just shreds through tanks, and you know, you've got to then play a bit more of a ranged opportunity. I think Mr. P was a very good pick here, actually, from Humble. Adding one more little idea to it, maybe a bell for good measure, just to ricochet some shots, which, again, in Canal Grande, a lot of clustering tends to occur. So having something like that with a bit more DPS, because the Mr. P will struggle in that regard. They might be to a decent comp here. ANR will have the 3rd and final pick, of course, but let's see how they want to fare Nita. I mean, it's not a bad shout at all, but you do have to close that gap, and it's not always the easiest thing in Canal Grande to do that. You've got to Squeak for the range. It's a bit of a risky comp, actually, now that they put the Nita to it.
Yeah, I feel like they had to, as Mr. P and a Squeak to go for something that would negate even ideas like Mortis or Buzz, which would have been really problematic against them. Nita will certainly help do that, but we'll still see the Mortis. The Mortis still comes through, and I thought the Nita surely would be enough to, dissuade them from making it happen, but it's ANR. They have aggressive ideas, and if you let them happen, they will certainly jump onto the opportunity. This is an exciting one. It is really an exciting one. And on paper, again, Humble was a comp that, is just a little bit more traditional, but ANR, with some explosive brawler picks, they can really pop off.
I'm not saying I told you so, but I mean, it makes sense. The Morris makes sense. I mean, there's no DPS for Humble, and he's going to lack considerably in range, but ANR have got to play it right. That's still going to come down to the point. And maybe it's on it. That gives me a lot of faith, as we know how aggressive he is. He can't go overly aggressive, but this is not out there crazy stuff. This is ANR reading through the situation, and all they've got to do is ensure they time their runs wisely, and Humble could be really in trouble here. I mean, the Squeak's probably their best performing brawler. The Mr. P is good, but under these circumstances, they could struggle.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, the map control here is completely crazy. Humble have control of both lanes, of both sides of the canal, and things are complicated positioning-wise for ANR. They do have that blue star. Of course, the Mortis pretty much got that for free. But regardless, their positioning is rough for the least. Now trying to push up that right side. He did have that Barley Super to help him out, and he will survive that engagement. Come out on top, only with 400 HP, but that's a big kill for ANR, giving them a 3 stars lead now.
Oh, no, I've got punished there, though. And Cyclone comes out on top. Robert's going to have to try to keep Cyclone back, and he's got the brute bear to hand. He's going from Lukey, big connection onto Nob as well, but no slow. As I know Trevor was saying this earlier, and I was thinking exactly the same thing. The slow is still so good in these scenarios, but since the chain reaction, everyone's gravitating over to it. Look at this push, everyone clustered in, and down goes their armor. Maybe it's low HP as well. Can't try and push back on the situation, and now Humble taking a firming role in the mid, full HP, and they've got ANR under the thumb.
No, and Super might want to send someone to the Shadow Realm. Maybe he's pushing up against Tomzy. Can he get his Super in time? Don't know. He goes down, and Tomzy will survive as well as Nob is chasing him down. But he is in the Shadow Realm with Cyclone, and as he comes out, they know where he lives, and they shut him down. Humble and slowly might be slipping away.
Well, I stand by it. I feel like ANR have actually got the better comp. They're just not playing it better than Humble. That's the reality of it, and you can't underestimate your opposition. And I feel like at the moment, since knockout, ANR have been doing that a little bit, and they can't afford to. Not at the moment, not this momentum shift that we're seeing. Not completely out of position there. Was never going to come out of there alive. Rama trying his best. He'll go down as well. Maybe it comes back and swings the stars. My goodness me, we need to see more of that. The Squeak will finish him off. That brings it back to a 10 to an 8, but you need to get those moments with Mortis. If you're going to bring it in the draft, you've got to demonstrate that it's relevant and worthy to bring back some value here.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. It's one of those brawlers that can be a big X factor, a big win condition. And so far, it hasn't been that. 2 stars behind for ANR. Mebius not quite going to go for his bats, and instead he goes down and goes home empty-handed. A couple trades later, and Humble are 4 stars ahead, 4 stars away from winning this game. ANR need to make a move, as Mebius does have Super. There is a chance that he can make something happen. They don't even have that many stars above their head on the side of Humble, so they will need a bunch of kills if they want to turn this one around. Mebius with bats, Mebius with the follow-up as well, and he's gonna pick up the 2-piece. Now it's only 1 star, but Nob is 1 shot, and he goes down to Cyclone.
It wasn't looking like they were being challenged. And that's where you get a little bit of the ego kind of shine through from on the side of ANR. We've seen that before with them. And sometimes it can work for them, and it's great, sort of entertainment value for sure. But I don't know how funny it is for them at this present moment in time with the realization they are 1 set away from actually not going through to the semi-finals. And again, we were talking about this coming on. that the last time that Humble were there was in the semi-finals of February. It's taken all year long to get back to where they kind of started. But that could be happening before our very eyes. Cordelia spanned on both sides. Now that is what I kind of need to see on any safe zone, or rather any heist mode, as ANR pick first pick Shelly. And that was a brawl that should have really been on the bans on the side of Humble. And they banned the Colette, which I think is a fantastic first pick brawler to have here, as the Crow is as well. But Shelly needed to be there alongside the Cordelias for me, as Bonnie coming in for them.
Yeah, the problem with the Shelly here is that when you're facing it, you're going to want to remove those bushes, and you're going to need to have enough range to, you know, not get completely melted down. And that means that there's a lot of different factors that Humble needs to take into account with this draft. I think Amber was pretty much a given. As I said, you know, remove the bushes. There's one brawler that does it best in the game right now. That's definitely going to be Amber. The Bonnie pick, I don't mind either. I think he can do fairly well. But still, it is a little bit scary with that first pick Shelly coming through from ANR. I feel like they are kind of the ones just deciding what this draft is going to be looking like, and Humble are more the reactionary side.
Carl is available here, and ANR do champion it pretty well. Brock as well, of course. Yeah, Carl coming in first. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Brock pairing with it, as with all these bushes down, I mean, you know, it's going to become a long-range affair. Lola, though, coming in. Don't mind that at all. The Bell, I think, still available on the other side of things, and that could be a great counter to it. Let's see what Humble want to bring in as the third and final, but I feel like Humble have got, again, the more traditional ideas. Amber, bit of an out there wild card, but as you rightly say, if the bushes are going down anyway, then maybe be the ones in control of it first and deflate what the Shelly can bring to the table here. But again, the Brock, Bell, both good shouts. To get this right, then it'll be Humble going through to the semi-final. It's going to be the Bell. You know, it's a very even draft now. You kind of feel like Humble have got that flow in their veins right now from, you know, bringing things back around ever since knockout in that third set. They haven't really missed the mark, and they land a couple of them on the side of this Bell pick in this set, in this game. It could well be them going through to the semi-finals for ANR. Again, before we started the potential reverse sweep, I've never really seen them get reverse sweeped. This could be a first here, and Humble are looking like they are in control.
4 games in a row is what Humble got now, and their win streak might come to an end, might not. Let's find out as we jump into the 5th set. Mebius, low HP pretty much off the bat, not really closing the gap nicely here, going all aggressive, gets a super off onto Luki, follow up Gadget as well, but not quite able to find the kill. Not will be able to burn him down. Mebius now in a good position on the right-hand side. It's the blue save, though, that's been taking the most damage so far, as Mebius is definitely not able to match that sort of damage output just yet. And at last, ANR are able to fend off their save. It's a 14% lead in favor of Humble.
We were focused a lot on Knob, but it was actually Cyclone on the bottom side of the map that was doing absolute work, and it's actually given Humble the lead so far. Overshot that, but does manage to get the takedown of Rama. And Thompson down the left will go in, try to get Mavis lined up with the save here. Get him whittled down. It's Knob in the mid. Can super through this if he wants, but he will go for it. No slow though onto Cyclone, who's got the speed enough to be able to dance around these shots. Moving forwards now as well, and I worry for ANR. I really do. I mean, at the moment, Humble are playing better. They've got the momentum to sort of keep up, shutting these ideas down. But as I say it, it is Cyclone who does go down, and Thompson soon to follow potentially here. ANR starting to get their pace together a little bit better.
Maybe just trying to close the gap, is able to make it a 1-for-1 trade. The problem really on the side of ANR with the Shelly pick is that it's going to be much better in the early game, because you have those play pitch and gadgets, and you still have the bushes as well, and potentially a speed gear to close the gap and be up close and personal. Problem is, no, there's not nearly as many pushes anymore. No more gadgets available either. And in that early game, ANR were losing, which is really not what you'd want to see if you're an ANR fan. And Humble right now, definitely looking like the better team, and the most likely want to go home with a match point after this game.
What a result it would be for Humble to be able to do this. There's 10 seconds on the clock. Rama's nowhere near the safe. Maybe it's just low HP as well. That's just not... ANR don't even get close to getting the damage which they need. And it's Humble moving on to match point. ANR, as Joke itself was kind of, you know, the way it went. They were so confident that they had this in the bag. They just took their foot off the gas. And in return, Humble put theirs on it.
My words, what a turnaround this game has been. The early game here, not looking too bad for ANR. Rama able to get a nice kill onto Cyclone. Luki is low HP as well, and control-wise, it's ANR with the mid-push all in their control. No need to defend if you have map control. Tomzy at last gonna be burning down that bush, and Mebius with it will be taking a good bit of damage. Cyclone is gonna jump towards the save, but doesn't really get nearly as much damage done as he was hoping for. Mebius gets to survive off that engagement as well, which is kind of crazy, to be honest. And suddenly ANR not looking all bad so far in this early game.
Yeah, better. Far better at the moment from ANR, but we just seen how easily they just do tend to, you know, get overconfident. And I kind of wonder how long it'll be before they lose their focus yet again. So far, so good. It's a small amount of deficit damage, let's be honest, though, for Humble to be able to retake. You just get a bit of mid-control here, which they're looking for at the moment. Maybe it's popping Gadget there as well, and he's going to probably lose if he doesn't use it. Straight into the wall, I'm not really sure about that, to be honest, and I think partially to do with the fact that he wants to use it quicker after popping it, and then instantly lost the momentum and then predictability of the play. Now, damage coming in from Rama, making it 76% now in favor of ANR, now 70%. Humble haven't really got themselves into position to get the damage, but that could easily change very quickly here.
Oh, certainly. They get 2 kills in a row now, and sure, I mean, the bell on the save is not exactly going to be the biggest threat, as it's not a very big DPS output. But nevertheless, it is Humble now with full map control. Cyclone going down, though, might be a problem because Nob is closing the gap, gets Lucky to a one-shot situation. Even though Rama is not able to finish him off, he's dealing damage on the red safe instead. 15 seconds left now, and potentially a double match point coming up. Unless ANR cannot stop Humble in their final push. There's some damage coming through. It's only 2% now. Surely they can finish it right here, right now. Team Humble, it's the draw.
We do it all again. We do it all again. Humble surely thought they had that in the bag. It was ANR who just crept forward a little bit to get some damage, just enough to keep them alive, but oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I mean, honestly, I'm wondering if this time might not be in the advantage of Humble, to be honest. You know, they still have the match point in hand. And that game was definitely looking so much better for ANR than the first game of Heist. A beautiful play from Cyclone there, winning that 1v1 against the car. Nope, getting some good damage from afar with the clay pigeons. Not really able to find all that much value just yet, though. As Humble now have control of the mid. Tomzy finds Rama. Rama also finds Tomzy. It's a 1-for-1 trade. But Nob will fall. And at last, Humble are starting to build up just a little bit more map control, even though they're still behind by the tiniest bit damage-wise. Once they take care of Mebius, which they should be able to easily do as that crossfire. They have some opportunities to get some good damage off safe, and look at that, Humble now with ever so slight lead.
I think the way the last game ended might actually be helpful for ANR because they just need a bit of time to regroup and give, you know, second chances in the scenario, but they are desperate at the moment. There's no doubt about it. They know that they've left it so late now that they kind of deserve to lose in that respect. As Luke getting a big tap on Rama, which again, increasing the value of that bell. I think that's where, for me, it kind of all went wrong. It originated with the picking of that Lola, because they could have gone for Bell, and they wouldn't have had nearly as much of a problem as they are having right now. Humble now getting themselves into the mid, and just waiting for that moment for Cyclone to jump in with a HP behind it. Tomzy keeping back Nob, and Mavis got to make a play at some point here. It's on the right-hand side, though, where things are going down as Cyclone will fall. And that at 25 seconds left on the clock is a crucial moment. ANR have got to get forward though and just secure Tom's, which they do. Get some damage down quick.
Yeah, time is running out for ANR. They have fought off a match point already, but they can they lock in a match point of their own? Nob is getting quite low HP, though they're trying to get up close. The super goes through. Rama deals some damage, but it's not gonna be enough. HMBLE take it home, and ANR, they will go home empty-handed. Look at the excitement here, because this was a huge reverse sweep to secure Rama himself. Can't believe it though. Not how he expected today to go. He knows that they messed up. They got overconfident. And HMBLE, I mean, they did